Clarence is one of those shows that I look back at so fondly. I can confidently say that I've rewatched the series at least 3 times, and every single time, Puddle feels like I'm watching it for the very first time. In this episode, a tired Clarence falls asleep in a puddle of mud at recess and is left there alone. When the teacher, Miss Baker, realizes someone is missing, Belson notices Clarence outside and decides to close the blinds and pretend someone else is missing. The idea of being forgotten outside at recess is one that reminds me of the opening scene of Ramona and Beezus when Ramona gets stuck in the ring climber. Howie, her friend, actually tells the teacher, but that doesn't negate the fact that no one really noticed she wasn't there. That scene always made me feel kind of bad for her, even if it was funny, and I feel similarly for Clarence in this situation. Time passes, and eventually Clarence is woken up by an acorn and quickly realizes that something is wrong. Panicking and unable to see, he runs around frantically until he runs into a tree, falls back, and begins to feel his face. This is when he notices that there's something on his eyes. He believes it's skin, saying that it was only a matter of time, which makes me wonder, did Clarence think about his skin sealing over his eyes before this? It wouldn't surprise me if he did, but I just wonder how that thought process came about. Anyway, something I really admire is Clarence's mindset through all of this.
Well, I can't see. Just gotta deal with it. You can do this, Clarence. It's gonna be okay.
He immediately accepts his new reality and doesn't let the change stop him. Rather, he accepts the challenge and tries his best. The overarching plot of this episode is soon revealed when Miss Baker announces the first annual Vision Bee in place of the Spelling Bee, which was replaced due to budget cuts. In this scene, I feel like Jeff makes some pretty valid points considering that a competition based on something out of one's control doesn't seem like a fair one. But the entire class basically boos him for questioning the ethics of the Vision Bee, and he decides to just try to win it.
Why are you booing me? I'm right.
Something else I really like about this episode is the use of drawings when Clarence is figuring out the world around him. They're a fun look into how Clarence views the world, especially the drawings of his friends. When he feels Jeff's head, he envisions a robot version of him, and when he feels Sumo's, he sees a pirate. These are both representations of how he views his friends, Jeff being robotic in a sense that he does things pretty linearly and straightforward, and Sumo being a pirate in a sense that he's more chaotic and risk-taking. And I think it's very interesting how this episode shows the world through his eyes, even when he can't actually see. While Jeff is fed up with Clarence's puddle-eyed antics, Sumo goes along with it. I've always loved how Sumo is down to go with whatever, just for the fun of it. He really is one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite. If there's only one Sumo fan in this world, it's me. When it's their turn for the Vision Bee, Sumo and only one of the Laser Twins goes up on stage. However, the second Laser Twin, Jeff, shows up and shocks everyone as he's got a southern accent, a fancy suit, and is playing along with Clarence's muddy ailment. He sprays his eyes with Jeff's famous elixir, which is just water, as the biggest hater in the room, Belson, points out. This obviously works, and the boys are able to compete in the bee. I love this scene because it reminds the audience that Jeff is a kid and can be silly sometimes. I feel like it's easy to make him this one-note, high-strung character, but the fact that he allows himself to play along with Clarence and let loose a little is really great to see, even if he only did it to compete in the Vision Bee. I really like this episode. It's one of the few not super relatable episodes, at least to me, as I've never been blinded by mud or know anyone who has, but I don't think it's the story that makes me feel nostalgic. It's the childlike reaction to a strange situation, which is something I enjoy about the whole series in general. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time where we'll talk about intergalactic space travel and all things hot dog buns.